Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here dropping in on you. It's Sunday, so I'm not going to be long, but I did want to talk. There is definitely something on my mind that I want to talk about. Uh, you guys know my love, my passion for my people, and the things that I've been doing for years. I don't have to keep iterating that over and over. You know, I'm passionate. You know how I feel about almost every topic pertaining to the Black community. Before I get started, two things. First and foremost, to everybody that's been showing me love through this difficult time, I definitely appreciate you. You are uh, appreciated more than you know in this difficult time. I love you. The love has been filled, the well wishes, the prayers, everything. Um, and so I'll keep pushing on. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, but I just had to say thank you for that. Um, now, we are still in the midst of a fundraiser. We are so far off from our set goal that I'm not going to even talk about the numbers, but we definitely need your support for Black Men Lead, the rite of passage program, but also the wraparound services that are so important to ensure that our young Black males are doing what have the resources they need. But the rite of passage program is something I'm about to talk to you about. And we have programs for young Black girls. We have with the issue in the community with Black males, we're losing them and they're coming back to haunt us. There is an old African proverb that says, when the child cannot feel the love of the village, he will burn it down to feel its warmth. We're experiencing that now in the Black community. We do not have a universal rite of passage. We do not have a structured and organized system by way to socialize and protect young Black males. They're pushed off into a public school system as early as 4 and 5 years old, where they're immediately ostracized and alienated. And it shows up over the course of their childhood and their lives, and it is manifested in violence, in self-destructive behavior, in poor performance in the adulthood. I've talked about this for years. We need to be addressing this now before we lose another generation. I cannot stress it enough that we can't sit around and think this problem is going to fix itself. We can't sit around and think that our Black boys are going to stop killing each other. We can't sit around and think that our adolescent boys and our young adult males are going to stop killing our daughters. We can't sit around and believe that not having men in the house is going to be a productive means through which we grow and become the powerful force that we say we want to become. We talk a lot about Black group economics, and I love Dr. Claude Anderson. I had a chance to work and consult with both he and his wife Joanne some years ago when I wrote the blueprint for Black empowerment. I think it was like 2014. I believe in Black group economics. I believe in proper education. I believe in a lot of things that we talk about. But let me tell you something. All of that has to start early in life. It's hard to take someone who has a paradigm of poverty, a paradigm of individualism, a paradigm of self-hatred, a paradigm of hustle and do whatever it is you got to do to get it, and then teach them positive values, interests, and principles that can be projected out into the future and sustain not just themselves, but an entire community and an entire race. That has to start with socializing them and 3 and 4 and 5, 6 on up. And that's what I've been talking about. That's why I created Black Men Lead. I created it as a means to eventually build a national network where we are operating through a universal rite of passage that establishes and defines Black manhood. One of the first principles is that a Black man never brings harm physically, emotionally, psychologically to a Black woman. First thing, his first role is as a protector. That's the first thing we teach. Before you ever earn your first dollar, you can defend. We've commodified the black man so much that all people care about is how much he makes. We don't care if he's protecting. We don't care if he's covering. We don't care if he's leading, if he's advising, if he's teaching, if he's fathering in the home. We don't care just long as he gets the bills paid. But then what happens is you got a bunch of people who have the money but don't have the know-how of how to love. And they can be just as destructive as the brother that's not in the house and not paying anything. We need to understand that we are losing the battle in the foundation of the home. And we're not socializing young black boys to teach them how to be powerful and forceful black men. And it's coming back to haunt us. All these boys are doing is burning down a village that did love to feel the warmth. We have to do something about it. I can't stress it enough. I have come together for 30 years, did the research, did the work, wrote the books. I'm in the middle of writing book number 25. I'm going to talk to you about that in the coming week. I'm actually got 2 on deck at the same time, but 25 is on deck. But I've written and published 24 books. I can't tell you how many scholarly and academic articles, tens of thousands of literal prose articles that have just been published on different publications that people ask me to write, maybe 1,000-word article or 2,000-word article. I don't read so many of them. It's unbelievable. All on the things that need to be done. This has been a life's work for me. On top of what I do in my business and helping people deal with trauma, helping people deal with performance issues in their lives, this has still been a thing for me. I love my people. I could have jumped ship a long time ago. I could have stood up and just took my gifts, my skills, my ability to do what I do and ran over and just played dumb and got money and just said, forget it. But I fought hard. I've lost clients because of my unapologetic stance in my blackness and my identity as a black man before anything else. And I refuse to back off of that. But let me tell you something. It's too many people who can help that aren't helping. It's too many people that know that there's a problem and see how maybe it can be corrected or rectified that won't get involved. Black Men Lead has been around for a while. We are doing work and we're getting results, but we can't keep up with the pace. Every day people are coming in. Thank God for the mothers who are bringing their sons. Even more thank fathers who are coming in and saying, hey, I need help. But there's an influx. And then there's an entire community that needs people in that community sitting up saying, this is not how we're going to do things. We need to be protecting it. We need to be cultivating and building strong men. I believe it was Frederick Douglass. I've said this so many times, and I consistently say it because it's an easy to understand truth. Frederick Douglass says it's easier to develop and build strong children than it is to repair broken men. We're failing. We're failing immensely. And we're sitting around and acting like it's going to be okay. It's going to fix itself. It's going to be okay. It's going to fix itself. No, it's not going to fix itself. There's nowhere that we can turn that we can sit up and say, okay, we have voted since the 60s. We have voted at a 90% rate Democrat. And we've had an increasing turnout at the polls each and every presidential cycle. And we've got nothing in return. In fact, we are worse off now than we were then. There are fewer fathers in the home now than there were then. There are more people black men in prison now than it was then. We are hurting ourselves because we will not stand up and say, we're coming together as a people. We're going to unify as a people, and we're going to deal with our own problems. When I came on, I'm going to finish this up because I'm in a space right now, and I'm going to tell you, and I think those of who have followed know where I'm at right now. This could be an easy time for me to check out. I got so much going on with my life that this could be an easy time for me to just say, man, I can't do this. But here I am on a Sunday and I'm talking to you. Why? Because it's my passion. It's my life work. And it's a place of solitude actually right now, knowing that I'm going to put in work. I'm going to do what I can. It kind of eases the things that I'm dealing with and I'm going through. But what I'm going to tell you something is This isn't about ease, people. This isn't about sitting up saying, well, I mean, I'm watching so many people thwart resources that could really be used to do something exceptional and extraordinary and phenomenal for people in our community and change the trajectory and direction. Dr. Anderson, speaking of Dr. Anderson earlier, but Dr. Anderson, he had always said that if we don't change the way we move as a people, that we will become a permanent underclass by 2013. And we were having that discussion when he was looking over the blueprint, and he and his wife both believed it. And I fought, and I'm like, no, we will not be a permanent underclass. We can overcome this. But the thing is, we can't overcome it still sitting in the same space, in the same mindset, moving the same way. Everybody's so freaking individualized. Everybody's in their corner. If ain't nothing going wrong with you, then everything's good. And then when stuff goes wrong with you, you don't have the ability and capacity to move around and now take place. So you end up getting bitter because nobody was there. It's not that nobody wants to be there. It's that we never come together as a people and put our resources together and act as a unit so that when something does happen, we can respond to it. We're always reacting. The only time we are unified is when we want to show up and show people we're angry by tearing up shit, which gets us nothing. Matter of fact, they turn around and use that very thing we're doing, which should be a positive thing. They use it as a negative, say this is exactly why. When we do show up to protest, we should show up as a unified people, unified economically, unified socially, unified as a community, and saying, hey, if you don't hear us today, this is what we're going to do with our dollars. This is what we're going to do with our children. We need to be coming together. There's no way that we should be where we're at in trying to save young Black boys, because we can sit up and talk about, it's easy to sit up and say, oh my God, shaking my head. That's horrible. They're so evil. They're so dark. They weren't born evil. That's the thing. They were not born evil. That evil was developed and pushed into them and then cultivated until it came out and expressed itself in the most vile way. And now, true enough, they've got to suffer the consequences of those vile actions. But they should have never been there in the first place. We need to own our responsibility. We need to stand up and say, look, this is the last generation that goes uncovered. This is the last generation that doesn't have their identity safely placed inside of their humanity and the sanctity of their psyche so that they know who they are. So when they walk out into this world, they're not shaken by the Eurocentric idea of what's beautiful, of what's classy, of what's professional, of what's right. And they can live in the beauty of who they are. They're not going over to different places and countries, killing themselves, trying to look a certain way because that's what society says, because they know who they are. They're not sitting around tearing down things and destroying the community they're in, because they understand their responsibility is to protect that community. We are failing. And we better wake up, because what happens is the moment that we become completely irrelevant, we become completely expendable, and they will expend us. If you can't look at their past and see what they're capable of, we need to be unified. We need to restore the family. We need to build strong black men by cultivating and developing young Black boys. So again, I'm going to challenge you. Support the work I do. People in Chicago, people in New York, New Jersey, Wilmington, Delaware, Atlanta, Miami, Orlando, Texas, we got on lock, over on the West Coast, all up in the Midwest. Let me tell you something. Contact us. We need to connect. We need to have, I want to do at least this year, over the next year, a 20-city tour where I'm going in and teaching people in the community the Black Men Lead Rite of Passage process of how you socialize young Black boys. We need a community of boys who know what they're going to grow up and become. And we don't need their society, their culture, their media teaching our boys what they're going to become. That's our responsibility. So yes, I'm challenging you. Go to the description box, click the link, and support the work. We need to support heavy. We need to support hard. Those who know me know how hard I've gone in this game. This isn't new to me. I didn't just show up yesterday. I didn't just show up last year. I didn't just show up 5 years ago. Check me. I've been around. They took the first channel down. But I've been around. And I've always gone hard for my people, and I always will. Now I'm challenging you to go hard. I'm challenging you to go all in. I'm challenging you to come together. Reach out to me. Communicate with me. I'm giving you everything that I have, and I'm asking for you to do the same. I'm going to live my life on full. I always say this to my clients and the people who follow me with what I do at the Visionetics Institute, but I'm going to tell you, I live my life on full. That means every day I wake up and I give it everything I have. Why? Because I don't know when my last day is. But what I can tell you is when I die, I'm going to die on E. I won't leave any potential behind. I won't leave any work that could have been undone, could have been done. I won't take it to the grave with me. It was Dr. Miles Monroe who first said that the cemetery is the wealthiest place on the planet. And Les Brown adapted it, but it was Dr. Miles Monroe. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is a cemetery. Why? Because you got books not written, businesses not started, friendships not cultivated, inventions not created. So many different things that people were supposed to do that they didn't do. They didn't take the challenge. They just meandered through life and got through it. They survived, they existed, but they never lived. Pain and all, I'm going for it all. And if I can do it from where I'm sitting right now, carrying this pain, I'm challenging everybody, man, stand up. It's time to make something happen. And if you don't want to support the work I'm doing, find somebody to support that you believe in, and you got to support them. Nobody's going to do this. Nobody's going to do this for our babies. It was Malcolm X that said, only a fool expects his enemy to educate his child. And I see somebody that says they're a former educator, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Our babies are not getting what they need in this system. And we have the brilliant minds to give them everything they need to put them on a path that they can't be stopped. They fear the educated mind. They fear the brilliance of Blackness. They fear it. And what do? We turn our kids over to them so they can squash it. And they're destroying the hell out of our boys. A 5-year-old on Ritalin, Adderall, Vyvanse, Concerta. That's one molecule off of cocaine, and you got a 5-year-old on it. And Black boys are being referred for special education assessments and assignments at a disproportionate rate that's unimaginable. And we're letting them just herd them on in. And then we wonder why they're behaving the way they're behaving. We're wondering why they're doing what they're doing. This has to stop. Adela Phillips, please reach out to me. You say you're an educator in Texas. I would love to talk with you. I would love to sit down and let you know what we're doing. I would love to get your input. Being on the front lines means there are a lot of things that you're aware of. I would love to speak with you. I'll make sure that if you come back to this video that my email will be in the description box. It might be already somewhere on this channel. I'm pretty sure there's a way on this channel that if you want to get in touch with me, you can, because people sure do. I got people every day coming to me that need our services, and we don't have the resources. So I'm asking, when you see this video, it's time to stand up. It's time to stand up. Like I said, I've been doing it for years. I plan on continuing to do it, but we have to get to a point to where we are ready to do what's necessary to ensure that the subsequent generations don't have to go through what we've been through. We keep passing down the same messed up crap generation after generation because nobody wants to take the mantle. Nobody wants to pick it up. Nobody wants to advance it. Everybody that has the brilliance. This is what they did. They took what we call sometimes the talented 10th. Those of us who just have this natural ability to rise and thrive and excel. And they rewarded us for not going back. They took the talented 10th, which was really truly designed in nature by God to be the leaders of the 90, not in bossing them around, but in showing them the way. And what they did is they took the talented 10th and they rewarded us tremendously, gave us positions, gave us popularity, gave us fame, gave us money and wealth. And what we did is we stepped away from our responsibility and we left them to linger and languish. And then we will even go online publicly and ridicule them and degrade them and talk down about them when we left them. Oh, I'm not giving any passes anymore. It's time to stand up. It's time to take action. I'm challenging everybody right now. This isn't about comfort. This is about necessity. And this is my challenge. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys, thank you and have a great day. I love you. And once again, I appreciate the love you're showing me through this time. One love.